Denny Blanco, my man, how you doing?
You know the vibes. You know the vibes. Just living life. Living beautiful like I am, and you look very beautiful. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Mm-hmm. Listen, man, I know it's been a little 2-month hiatus. Your schedule's been crazy, so is mine. Plenty of things of going on between us, but we are here. We are back. Brand new season of the Retro Room podcast here on the Ball is Life Podcast Network in collaboration with Cruise Control Podcast. Find the podcast on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, also on youtube.com/Cruise Control Podcast. Find Denny Blanco on social media at Twitter at I am Denny Blanco. Still I am Denny Blanco. Is it what is it now?
I think my name is up there. Hold on, wait.
Oh, Sir Denny Blanco.
The name is up there, Sir Denny Blanco. We got the TikTok. We got the.
We got TikTok now.
We got the TikTok. We got the Twitter. We got the Instagram.
At Sir Denny Blanco.
Yeah, Sir Denny Blanco, the Marv Albert of the digital world, basketball world. I am the Marv Albert of this game. You know what I mean? On digital. So let's get to it. It's always about the breakdown. So I usually break it down on those videos. So hit me up on that page, and if you want to argue with me and Randy, just send me a shout out. I'm ready to argue.
That's right. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Randy J Cruz, RENDY, the letter JCRUZ. Denny Blanco, Retro Room. We know we go to the past and try to dig up some topics that'll be fun and interesting for our fan base. That'll make people think and make people wonder and what ifs. So if you're brand new to the Retro Room, welcome. We really appreciate your love and support. Again, follow us on social media. Find the podcast also on ballislife.com. So we thought about, the NBA playoffs are on the horizon. So we figured, hey, man, there's been a handful of teams in, yesteryear that were very great in the regular season, did some work in the playoffs, but just did not get the job done when it came to the playoffs or the NBA finals. So we're like, man, which teams were that good, that great, but did not walk out as NBA champions? I know we've been through a Chicago Bull run, a Warrior run, a Laker run, little Spurs here and there. But I'm pretty sure there are some teams that you could have said, listen, man, I know they won, but this was the team that should have been victorious in the NBA Finals. So we're going to start from pretty much 1990 and up. So we got at least a 30-year window of teams that could have won the NBA championship, but did not. We're going to start with the 1990s, obviously dominated by the Chicago Bulls and the multiple three-peat. But there is a sprinkle of years in there that we had Detroit win it. We had San Antonio win it. We had the Houston Rockets go back-to-back. But Denny Blanco, is there a team in this decade that you feel like, man, I could have seen them walk out NBA champions at least one time? Where are we going?
Wow. I mean, so we just wait. Okay. So, I mean, I got a lot of teams on my mind because there's a lot of teams where, they run into the injuries or the matchups. So there's all right. So you said 90s and up.
I'm going 90s and up, but I'm going to start with the 90s first. Is there a team or two you feel like that could have been a champion in that decade? That should have been.
Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns team that lost to the Bulls.
So the 93 Suns, you feel like that was a better team that should have won the championship?
Oh, I don't think they were a better team.
Okay.
Whoa.
I had to make sure, bro. I had to make sure.
You try to keep me on my toes. We back.
We back, right? Come on, man. You know how we do. You know the vibes.
We back. I keep on my toes. I almost lost the eyebrow just now. I was almost on fire just now. Listen, no. Yeah, Michael Jordan on your team. That's going and Scotty and of course, the whole Chicago Bull three-peat running team. It's gonna be a hacksaw, but
right.
They ran into a hacksaw. The Suns, the Utah Jazz, The Utah Jazz ran into a hacksaw with the Bulls too. Sometimes just about matchups and teams that you just run into that they just have a control over.
Mm-hmm. I think the one team that I feel could have been at least in the NBA Finals and maybe could have walked out as champions. The first year Jordan retired, 1994. Obviously, the Rockets won it. But if you look back, the one seed in that playoffs were the Seattle Supersonics. Best record in the NBA. They go down in round one to the Nuggets. I think that was the first time ever a one seed lost to an eighth seed in the playoffs. And you look at it, it's the Knicks and the Rockets in the NBA Finals. Seattle, again, was the best team in the league. Gary Payton, Sean Kemp, George Karl coaching. And I still, to this day, can't believe they lost to Denver. But shit happens in the NBA playoffs. So I'm thinking like, hey, it could have been the Knicks and the Sonics in that finals. Now, even if they had advanced and got the Rockets in the playoffs, that also could have been a toss up too, because I think nobody was stopping Elijah. If Pat Ewing can't do it in New York, and Seattle have Michael Cage and whoever in Seattle, but I think if Seattle would have beat Denver, I think they still would have beat the Rockets and could have been world champions, because that was probably their best year. I know they lost in '96 to Chicago, but I felt like maybe '94 was the better team that just did not get it done.
Detlef Schrempf, Hersey Hawkins, Gary Payton, Sean Kemp,
Sam Perkins.
They were loaded.
Yeah.
They were loaded. I just don't. They ran into a hacksaw. I mean, you can go further down the line to Sacramento Kings. You can look at the Phoenix Suns, MVP Nash teams.
Yeah.
You think I always get mad because Phoenix was right there. I think it was Robert Horry hip checked Steve Nash into the scorers table.
Yeah, that was 07.
Nasty Nash had Phoenix rolling.
Mm-hmm.
He had them rolling, and Stoudemire, Diaw, if I'm not mistaken. I think Joe Johnson. No, was Joe Johnson on that team? No, I think
it was Marion, Stoudemire, Diaw.
Marion was on that team for sure. This other boy that used to get under Kobe's skin. What was his name? Barbosa was on there. There's other dude, the two guy. I forget his name. I think he came from Utah. I forget his name. He went to Phoenix. He's a 3-and-D guy. I forget his name.
Raja Bell.
Yes.
Raja Bell.
I think he was on that team too. Yeah, they were right there too.
Mm-hmm.
They were right there too. But of course, suspension and then boom. And then we're talking about this because of disappointing teams. I mean, what about the loaded Lakers with Karl Malone and Gary Payton?
Nah, I'm not going for that one. Not going for that one. I mean, the Lakers they had the three-peat. They lost to San Antonio in the playoffs a year after. They come back and revamp with Karl Malone and Gary Payton, thinking that all right, we got these. We're good, but I still overall felt that Detroit was the better team put together. It may not stand out as like an all-time team with names, but you look at Chauncey Billups, Rasheed, Ben Wallace, Tayshaun Prince, Rip Hamilton, Larry Brown was coaching, and you get the Lakers, although they had Shaq and Kobe. Maybe that wasn't a well put together team, and GP was up there in age. Karl Malone was up there in age. Karl Malone did get hurt, so you never know what could have happened. But Detroit was a lot younger, and their defense was incredible. With the '90s, real quick, I think also if you look at it, maybe I've always heard this from people here in New York that. In 97, when it comes to the New York Knicks, 1997 was the best team the Knicks had that whole decade. And if it wasn't for that fight with the Miami Heat, in '97, they could have went to the conference finals against the Chicago Bulls and give a run for their money. Now, would they have won? I don't know, but that would have been the best team to go at the Bulls in that year.
Remind us the Knicks roster, please.
Ewing, Allen Houston, Spree was not there. Allen Houston, Larry Johnson, Pat Ewing.
What year? 90 what?
1997. Chris Childs. So this is before Spree and Camby and those guys. Oakley was still there. John Wallace was on that roster. John Starks was still there.
Ewing, Houston, Larry Johnson, Oakley, Charlie. Oh, no. You said 97, right? Yeah, 97.
97, yeah.
Yeah. The starting lineup was Patrick Ewing, Houston, Larry Johnson, Charles Oakley, Charlie Ward.
Charlie Ward, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if they don't have that fight with Miami, we're probably having a different conversation. Now, again, would they have won? I don't know, but to be a championship contender team, again, they're gonna say 94, but 97 was that what I keep hearing was the team put together.
I mean, they ran into Indiana Pacers in the Eastern Conference semifinals
that year,
97, 98.
No, 96, 97 when they played Miami.
Copy.
Yeah.
97. All right, 96, 97. All right.
Yeah, because the year after they start trading people, they start revamping a quick rebuild. That's when they get Spreewell, Camby, and they go to the finals in 99. And listen, while we at 99,
lost in the Heat, lost NBA Eastern Conference semifinals, lost in the Heat. Yeah, lost the Heat. Yeah.
And while we at 99, you can also say the Miami Heat. They were the 1 seed, and they lost to the Knicks at number 8. So
who's on that 99 team
for the Knicks?
For the Heat.
Alonzo, Tim Hardaway, PJ Brown, Jamal Mashburn, Dan Marley.
99 to 98. Let me see. 90.
98, 99, yeah.
98,
they had a roster.
98, 99. Lost. Yeah. That was when they went to the NBA Finals. Yeah, that's when they was doing the early small ball. That's when the Knicks was doing the early small ball. A lot of people don't recall. Hold on. Let you see that starting lineup. What was the starting lineup here for the Knicks?
Probably Houston, Spreewell, Ewing, Chris Childs, maybe, or Charlie Ward, and Larry Johnson.
Start in line. Yep, Patrick Ewing, Houston, Larry Johnson, Kurt Thomas, Charlie Ward.
Also, Spreewell off the bench. Wow. I mean, later on he started, so.
Yeah. He's You game 30 looks like 30 game 31. Look like
that could have been a Miami San Antonio finals.
That's where they went Charlie Ward, Latrell, Allen Houston, Patrick Ewing, and Chris Douglas.
See? So if I'm going 90s, I'm going Seattle from 94, and I'm going Miami from 99 as part of the best teams in that decade that did not win a championship. And your Suns, I would say Phoenix, but I guess I put Seattle and Miami there because they were the 1 seed, had the best record in the NBA, and they lost in the fucking first round.
Man, fights, fights with people, teams, fights with
injuries,
fights with fire extinguishers, fights with. Fights with injuries. It's always
and Jordan.
Say again.
And Jordan. That's why you win a chip, Jordan.
The Orlando Magic.
Oh no! Which Magic? What? Not the 95. Bro, they got swept. They got swept. I like that Magic team. Shaq, Penny, Nick Anderson, and Dennis Scott. That was young. They were young.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah, but like you said, a buzzsaw. You run into the Houston Rockets with Olajuwon as the number 6 seed in the NBA Finals.
Hey, but you know what's interesting? That Houston Rocket team deserved that ring because they had to go through some teams. At the 6th seed, they had to go through some teams. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, listen, they beat Phoenix down 3-1. So again, you could put that Suns team in the whole equation. They beat San Antonio in the conference finals, and San Antonio was were they the 1 seed? They probably were the 1 seed, and D-Rob was the MVP.
Yo.
And Olajuwon just dream shook D-Rob, and D-Rob he was never the same, bro. He was never the same after that.
Yo, man. Hey, don't make lesson to the wise, my people. Don't make us Africans angry. Embiid, Olajuwon, Antetokounmpo. Don't make us angry, bro. We're liable to do some things. If you feel me.
All right, so we got Seattle out, Miami 99, and your Suns from 93. All right, 2000s. There's a plethora in here.
Portland Trailblazers.
2000.
You got Arvydas Sabonis and Scottie Pippen on the same team. What are you doing? What are you doing? So let me just put you on a game, boys and girls. That's like having, and I'm talking about today's game. Like that would be like having a B- Joker and a B- LeBron on the same team.
Okay.
Not talking A plus LeBron, not talking A plus Joker. You know what I'm saying? The things that they cannot obviously do, but if you compare the skill set, what they can do. Obviously, Arvydas Sabonis is one of the best passers in the game, comparable to Joker right now, who's running the point for Denver. For some strange reason, because Jamal Murray's hurt, and you have Scottie Pippen, who obviously before LeBron was LeBron.
But even at that time, Pippen was not in his prime in 2000.
That was definitely past his prime. So I would say C.
That was the
LeBron.
decline.
That was C plus LeBron.
I mean, listen. Still, Sabonis, Pippen, Rasheed, Damon Stoudemire, Steve Smith, Bonzi Wells, Jermaine O'Neal, Brian Grant.
Stop it. All Hall of Famers, no? Who ain't make the Hall? Damon Stoudemire ain't make it. Scotty did.
Scotty did.
I think
Sabonis, yeah.
I think Arvydas did. Rosh did. If he didn't already, he should be going. If Rosh didn't go, he should be going.
Does Steve Smith make it?
I think Steve Smith is a Hall of Famer. I think.
Why does that feel like they put Steve? I could be totally wrong, but I'm thinking like, I think they put Steve Smith in the Hall of Fame. I could be dead wrong.
Why do I feel that he should? I think he should be Smith Basketball Hall of Fame. No. He was inducted into Michigan State's Athletics Hall of Fame, not NBA Hall of Fame.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but he was again. You had everything you could ask for. You had Damon Stoudemire, who was quick. You have Steve Smith, who could take you down to the post and who had a 3-point game. And you had Scottie Pippen, who could distribute and defend the best wing player on the other team. Then you had Arvydas Sabonis, who could score in the post and then shoot threes. Score in the post. Excuse me.
So would you say Portland was the better team than the Lakers, or you feel like
if you
they had the better talent?
If you look at the big Lakers team, I think the Portland Trailblazers had the better talent, but the Lakers had the better players. Two. Better players. Two.
Yeah, they had the
Mamba
more.
and
Yeah,
Shaq.
they had the more dominant players. But from a talent standpoint, that can get you a bucket, a defensive stop. On paper, you're like, yo, this is
I
crazy.
think was it you said Bonzi was on there? Was it Bonzi on there too?
Yeah, Bonzi was on there.
Come on, bro. A lot of people don't remember Bonzi. A lot of people
No,
don't
they
remember
don't.
Bonzi.
They should. They should. And a young Jermaine O'Neal
Come on,
that
bro.
they gave up on him too early. He became
Come
a
on, bro.
all-star in Indiana.
They were loaded with talent.
Yeah.
Loaded.
Up
Loaded.
15 the fourth quarter, game 7 in LA. But yeah, Portland. But 2 years after, probably I think even more than Portland. You mentioned Sacramento earlier. The 2002 Sacramento Kings. Again, you run into the buzzsaw of the Lakers trying to get a three-peat. And every year, Kings and Lakers playoffs, 2000, 01, 02, probably one of the best rivalries we've had in NBA history. And it goes 7 games. Lakers, Kings, Mike Bibby, C. Webb, Vlade, Peja, Doug Christie, Bobby Jackson. The best record in the NBA, number 1 seed. You have game 7 on your home floor. And it's like, damn, man.
Shout out to Chris.
If they would have won that, they would have beat. They would have won the championship. They had New Jersey waiting.
Shout out to Chris Webber because, obviously with the timeout in Michigan, if he had won a chip, that would have erased. It would have erased that timeout. It wouldn't have meant a damn thing.
And C. Webb would have been. He would have got in the Hall of Fame a lot sooner.
You feel me? That ring would have solidified a lot of things in a lot of people's minds. But he'll definitely get into the Hall if he's not in the Hall already, because he was just one of those dope players. But when you look at that team, they were the early. I would say the early fast break, run and gun, and you also they didn't take a lot of contested threes, and they didn't take a lot of wild shots. They just knew they had to go through C. Webb, and everybody played their natural position. Mike Bibby, Doug Christie, Peja Stojakovic. Stojakovic, one of my favorite players, watching him play. And you add him to Webber, then you add him to Divac. See, what you have is you have a point guard, Bibby. Then Bibby can shoot. Then you have Doug Christie can shoot. Then you have Stojakovic that can shoot. Then you surround him with Webber in the post, with Divac in the post. Then you got Bobby Jackson coming off the bench. They should have won a chip, but of course, you have a team, and then you have a referee, and then that's a different story for a different day.
I've been very, very, very entertaining. A bunch of highlights. That 02 team. If you had that same team with Jay Will, White Chocolate, and now Mike Bibby when they made the trade with Vancouver, I think it's a completely different team. I know Jay Will was with C. Webb, but you add Mike Bibby to that equation. Mike Bibby became a star in that playoff run. Still, Mike Bibby is one of those guys that you feel like, man, a great players who never made an all-star team. You could say Mike Bibby is definitely one of them. And he turned that Sacramento King franchise to an NBA championship contender. Yeah, they had C. Webb, but Mike Bibby was the missing piece that Sacramento did not have. And to be a viable opponent for the Lakers, who was guarding Mike Bibby on LA? Derek Fisher. That wasn't working. You still had Shaq and Kobe, but now you have a scorer, a guy that can create his own shot, playmaker, all that, get other guys involved. It would just, again, there are other unfortunate events that happen in that series of why Sacramento did not win. But I would say over Portland 2000, Sacramento Kings 02 should have been NBA champions because they would have beat New Jersey. I would say that.
Very much so. Yeah, there's not even a question there. They ran over Jersey real quick. 1, 2, 3, bang bang.
I would say real quick, I would go with next the 2007 Dallas Mavericks. 1 seed, Dirk is MVP. They coming off a finals loss the year prior to Miami. And they lose. They become the third team to be the 1 seed and lose to an 8th seeded Golden State Warriors. Again, you could be the best team in the NBA, but if you striking hot like the Warriors were, you can't overcome that.
You know what? You know what's interesting?
What's up?
What Golden State did to Dallas, Dallas did to Miami.
In 2011.
Take a minute, breathe it in. Breathe it in.
Mm-hmm.
Golden State came in and took Dallas's heart. Just took their soul. Came in, did whatever they wanted. Baron Davis,
Baron, Steven Jackson, Matt
Barnes. Those three alone right there. Just
Monte?
I believe so.
I think Monte was on that roster.
Yeah, I'll pull up a little bit, but
yeah,
it was a lot of soul grabbing. Guys put in pockets where guys was like, "Hey, I don't. Hey, when's this over? I don't want to play anymore. I don't want to play anymore against these guys. They're too rough. They're too. No,
but like you said, Bustle Warriors were hot at the right time. They had the momentum. And Dallas never really.
It was momentum, and again, like I said, it was they took their heart. So when Dallas got that happened to Dallas. That happened to Dirk. That happened to Dirk. That happened to Jason Terry. They were on that team.
Devin Harris, Josh Howard, Avery Johnson was the coach.
A lot of those guys weren't there, but Dirk and Jason Terry was still there. Fast forward to Miami. Yeah, it's called. See, and that was the reverse. Everyone back then was talking about Dallas. No one was talking about Golden State. Golden State came in there and said, fast forward to Miami. Heatles. LeBron, went to Miami. Team up with Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. You know what Dallas was like? That Dirk Nowitzki from Dallas, that Dirk?
Oh, 2011 Dirk was. Listen, I was there. I was there in game 2 with my brother and my uncle, all the way up top, right by the Alonzo Mourning banner. But I was in there. And I think Miami was up 1-0. Is going crazy, tie game, overtime, and Dirk took over. And that crowd, as loud as they were in the fourth quarter and overtime, when Dirk hit that shot, it was like Dirk shut the whole shit down.
Who was the point guard?
From that point on, I know Miami won game 3. They were up 2-1. After that, it was like, where everybody go? And Dirk, it was Dirk, Sean Marion, J. Kidd, J.J. Barea, Tyson Chandler, Jay Terry was still on the roster. But again, it was just more of Dallas wanted it more, and Miami was just got shell shocked after game 3, and LeBron wasn't LeBron, and Bosh wasn't Bosh, and Wade wasn't Wade, and again, Dallas struck hot when it could.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. I'm just looking at this 2011. This is 2011 roster here of 2010, 2011 roster of the Dallas Mavericks. I'm laughing because I'm just like, yeah. Dirk Nowitzki, Hall of Famer. Jason Kidd, Hall of Famer. Then you add Jason Terry, Caron Butler, Sean Marion, Tyson Chandler, JJ Barea,
Mm-hmm.
Stojakovic.
Oh, and Pager was there. Wow. And Carlisle was a coach, right? Carlisle.
All out Deshaun Stevens there as well. Like they had
Mm-hmm.
everything they needed. So when they saw Miami, it was like, oh, Jason Kidd was like, yo, move. They ain't got nothing for Dirk. Move. Who they want on him? Chris Bosh? Come in.
And what? Miami had again LeBron, Wade, Bosh, but they had Chalmers there. They had who else was there on the
One
run?
enough. Haslam. One enough.
Haslam.
One enough. Haslam still there. One enough. One enough, man. Dirk was
No.
on a mission. Dirk, they had nothing. Dirk was shooting
My
for three.
Dirk remembered 06 and was like, "Yo, y'all not doing this again.
Move. Get up. Move.
Mm-hmm.
Jason.
And Dirk took over, just like how D Wade took over in 06. D Wade, that was one of the best finals I've ever seen performance wise. So that had to be in the back of Dirk's mind, like, nah, we're not doing this again. I'm not losing to Miami again. But the thing is, when you look back at world champions, the Mavericks don't stand out to people. The Detroit 04 don't stand out because it's not flashy, it's not the big names, not exciting, not the highlights. People know Miami and the Warriors and the Cavaliers and all that because of the names. But 2011 Mavericks don't get talked about enough as they should. And the Pistons.
No, you're 100% correct. I was going to say something too when you mentioned the Boston team. Rondo, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, KG, and what's the center's name?
Well, Perkins, right?
Perkins. Then you have the Detroit team. Billups, Rip,
Tayshaun, and Ben Wallace.
Okay. Both those teams are identical because everybody's playing their position, their natural position, and the team doesn't win without everybody doing their job.
So hold on, you talk about the champion.
Just in general. Team. Yeah, just in general, just how they win, how both of those won their championships.
Right.
Not so much as they were stars on the team, and they were guys that were known, but team wise, I just want to mention team wise, those two teams. I was just reminding myself that they were probably the best teams that played together that won a championship that I've seen in a while.
But I would say that 08 team gets talked about more than Detroit and even the Mavericks.
Yeah,
because of who they had and who they beat.
100%. Oh, 1,000%. Yeah, you're right.
But if I ask you this, just to kind of play around, if I ask you 7-game series, everybody healthy, right? 04 Pistons, 08 Celtics.
I'm gonna go.
Let me write this down.
Celtics in 7.
08 Celtics in 7 over the 04 Pistons.
Correct. Yeah.
Listen, very, very low scoring, I would say.
It's gonna be. I'll tell you the score. You ready? 32.
Not that low.
32.
I'm thinking like 79, 74, 2 minutes to go in the fourth. Talking that low.
Man, 71-70. Hey, wow. You're talking about great defense. You're not getting ticky-tack call fouls. Guys aren't flailing their arms. It's a man's game. If you're going to score, you're going to score.
I got 3 more before you wrap up. What do you think about the 2013 San Antonio Spurs? You think Miami was the better team that year, or do you think San Antonio was the better team and they just kind of let that shit go? Up 3-2. This is where the Ray Allen hit the shot and all that.
Trying to make me angry right now.
I'm sorry.
trying to make me angry. So I'm down to 40-40 in Manhattan. I'm the only one in the building. The place is rocking. I'm the only one in the building rooting against Miami. I'm rooting for San Antonio. Everyone's rooting for Miami. And I picked the right team. I know I did because they came back and won it the next year. So they all know they should have won that year. It's one bad move by Greg Popovich by benching Tim Duncan, and leaving Boris Diaw to fight with Chris Bosh with the dinosaur arms. Tips it out to Ray Allen and game over. Then they go overtime, and then you know the history. You know what happens. But Tim Duncan's in there. They get the rebound. They're winning. They got that chip and the next year's chip. So yes, that team, Manu, Tony Parker, Tim, Boris Diaw, they should have been
Kawhi.
A spry Kawhi. That's why I picked. I was like, no. And then they came back and won it the following year, and they, who's to say they, even the team that Kawhi was on that where he got injured. I think that was the year. I think that was the year that Golden State won. I think, or is that the year that Cleveland won?
Well, when Kawhi